was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put them out.
About the situation, let's get into it, bro. I want to get into this. I want to tell you that MASE had a duty and an obligation to his label mate.
Yo, I did this shit. He want receipts. Let's start with your mother. Your mother got the receipts. Thing is in your mother's name. That's the one who got the receipt. You need more proof? Biggie ain't here, so Big can't give you no receipts. He dead. Craig Mack can't give you receipts. He dead. What are you talking about? Who else? Black Rob can't give you receipts. He dead. And everybody else you made sign paperwork so they can't talk about what I'm talking about. I'm the only one with the guts. You're not signing it, nigga, because I ain't need the money.
MASE came back from that game. He let me know, and he let Puff know that he was good. They wanted Puff and Big dead.
Look, we have all seen the way the music industry chooses to present itself with the parties, the champagne, the red carpets, and that polished image, suggesting that if you are talented enough and just a little lucky, you might step into a world that most people only ever observe from the outside, and that image tends to stay in place for a very long time, but behind it there has always been another version of events that many people within that space have quietly known about for years, not rumors or wild conspiracies, but real moments and experiences that people witnessed, went through, and then tucked away without speaking on them because saying anything often came with consequences, although right now those consequences seem far less intimidating than they once did. And through all of this, there are two individuals who have been especially interesting to watch, with MASE being right there during Bad Boy's peak years and choosing his words carefully over time, while DaBaby once attended one of Diddy's parties and described what he saw without fully realizing back then how important that account might later become, Nike, Saniati. And you already know MASE was everywhere, with Harlem World dropping in 1997, debuting at #1, and eventually going 4 times platinum, putting him on top of everything. And alongside Diddy, he appeared inseparable in public, making the entire situation look like a dream from the outside. And that stayed that. And
yeah, it's crazy, man. I know MASE, he spoke out about Diddy House getting raided. If you can, right, because he got the show with Cam, and a lot of people, they don't know about the history between MASE and Diddy. Let the people know how Diddy did him dirty, if you don't mind.
From what I know, I think that Diddy wasn't teaching MASE the business. You understand? He was using MASE as other artists to write rhymes on other people, write songs on other people's albums, on his album, and taking their talents and stealing their publishing on different albums and different records. Prime example, MASE wrote that Bad Boy joint. I ain't even see him at the premiere, because I believe Diddy owned most of the publishing on that, which ended up being a big record that went over to movies. I think MASE was upset the fact that when he learned the business, he saw how Diddy had robbed him. He had took the glory for the albums, the music, and all the records that he had did. And he got pennies for it. You understand? 8,000 here, 10,000 there. You understand? When the record go platinum, Diddy's getting 200,000-300,000 and only gave him pennies for writing a song. Getting points on publishing that he didn't even deserve. So MASE learning the business and knowing the business, it led him to be upset. Diddy was teaching him wrong, like Diddy was teaching them not to even speak to people, brother. You understand what I'm saying? Nate used to come up in there, yo, what's up, how you doing? He had that Harlem smile. You know what I mean? Like he happy, he's shining. Cause, you know, he had a lot of jewels that the other artists didn't have. He used to come up in the studios, he used to come places fly. Did he tell him, yo, you ain't gonna never be famous cause you always speaking to people. Let them speak to you. I seen Mase stop speaking to people. When I told him, man, don't listen to that dumb, be you. But he found out after Big died and Puff left his ass out in California, he knew only Puff was for self. So Mase and them didn't have what these kids have now with the internet, with the YouTubes, to learn the business themselves or listen to somebody teaching them business and stuff to watch out for. It was word of mouth or somebody sitting you down or you hiring a lawyer back then to teach you what you're supposed to know by representing you. So Mase has every right to be upset with Diddy because Diddy really stole his legacy in the music. See, what you gotta understand this is that a lot of those kids learned the business after they signed their contracts. They learned the business after they was in the business for 3 or 4 years. So now, when they learned the business and they was doing, sitting right there, writing a whole record, a whole song, right? And Diddy was like, yeah. Here, take this, take that. Give them 10,000 for that one song that they wrote. And that song goes platinum.
There is something about being inside a machine like Bad Boy Records where you become part of something massive, yet the terms of that arrangement are not always what they first appear to be. And when you sign on the dotted line, Mase has spoken openly over the years about how the financial reality never matched the public image. Because while he was reportedly generating tens of millions for Diddy's label, he was walking away with just $20,000 in publishing, which is not really a fair deal, but something else entirely. Since publishing rights are not just a small financial detail, but your actual ownership of your work. And when those rights are given up or taken through a contract you signed at 19 or 20 years old, you are not only losing royalties, but also giving up control over your entire legacy, including the songs you wrote, the performances you delivered, and the culture you helped shape, all of which ends up being owned by someone else. And for many bad boy artists, this situation continued for years, without real change, while Mase left the label, turned to ministry, returned again, and then stepped away once more. And that kind of back and forth is not simple indecision, but the sign of someone trying to break free from something that keeps pulling them back in.
Puff through the Grammy speech, Mase say about the publisher. This is just personal between the two of them, and those feelings are there because they dealt with each other for years and years and years, right? And putting you guys to see on the surface and even deeper than what I know. But I met and hung out with both parties. But you look at it and you say, when he's pointing out the publishing, the same boys now. Fabio, you know what I'm saying? Like it's there. Yeah. He's done the same they did to you, boy. The about some shit somebody did to you and you doing it to somebody else? Right. Yeah, man. Right. And when they be saying it's a whole lot of game, a whole lot of game, not even get a record. You gonna not take the money? You see what I'm saying? So the young boy could say, I could mislead him by saying, nah, don't do this, don't do that. But then how right now?
Right.
How you gonna eat? That's what that's based on. And then you can't cry over spilled milk later, after the fact, look at it and go, oh, I should have never did this. Yeah, then that means that you're the kind of person that no matter what happens later, you're gonna look at and say, I should have did this different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Things you go through make you who you are. You said at that point, when he did the deal, that's the right deal. You asked me if I did the right deal, so yeah.
Right.
I hate when artists get in a position where they could get blocked by how the deal was structured. They get blocked, like, you know, even Fetty, like Fetty Wap.
Yeah.
His down because the deal was structured. Now the deal was, and on fire, bro. Like, you think number one. I'm like, goddamn, do not stop.
Yeah.
You give it a break, and it's hard to get back into that slot. He's learning now.
Right.
It's hard to get back into his position that he was in. His voice is still good, like the music, but still not getting to the position the other records was getting into that position on. Because our culture is out with the old and with the new. Because I was completely in the green. Like, I'm like, it's very rare that you have an artist come and they don't owe the record company.
Right.
Actually, you should try and owe your record company.
What you mean?
I mean, you should have them be invested in you being the success by being in the red a little bit.
All right. So you know that they supporting because they spending.
Because they're spending and they want to keep it a functional business. Like when you come in and your first album was the largest debut hip hop album, you're so far in the that it's like we never lost a dime, we just made money off of 50 Cent the entire time. Yeah. First album, 13 million records, second album, 10 million records. No matter how you look at it, they made money off of 50 Cent.
Right.
You know, and then when they leveraged the wins with their losses. But Jimmy, like, as soon as I went on to talk about the Star, I said, he should be there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because I looked and I saw, like M spoke, and then Dre is there, and it's like, look, this is the guys that are there creatively to reaffirm that what I'm saying is right.
Absolutely.
And then Jimmy's the only person that wasn't there.
Even in the middle of all this, it came across as both surprising and a little confusing when reports suggested that he returned Mase's publishing rights in September 2023, along with those belonging to Faith Evans, 112, The Lox, and even Biggie's estate, with all of them quietly being made whole roughly 12 months before the federal indictments were finally announced.
So I'm gonna tell y'all what I think about it. All right, so recently Diddy gave Mase his publishing back, right? I'm gonna tell you why I think Diddy gave it back. Diddy ain't lit right now, you know what I'm saying? Diddy's name is not flowing right now like it was, you know what I'm saying? But Mase, his name is. Cam and them, they got the podcast now, It Is What It Is, you know what I'm saying? And that's getting big, that's real big right now. Everybody's tuning in, everybody's checking out that sports talk, right? But nobody don't hear nothing about Diddy. So Diddy might have said to itself, okay, how can I get my name known? My name back out there. You know what I'm saying? Diddy's already known, but how can I get my name back out there? Let me give Mase his publishing back. Let Mase announce to the world that I gave him his publishing back. Maybe people will start to come around more to me, you know what I'm saying? Maybe people might hold me in higher regards than what they hold me in now. Now here go another thing. Podcast is big, the hip hop media is big right now. I'm a part of it, you know what I'm saying? And it's very big. So now, by Diddy doing this also, this could be another thing. Diddy could have did that for publicity, to create publicity. Remember, whether it's good publicity or bad publicity, it works in this business. It works. Tell y'all a little bit about me. I've been following all of this. I knew about rap before I was able to add and subtract. I'm from the X, came up around it, you know what I'm saying? And I also know business. I know how business works. So by Diddy giving Mase the publishing back, everybody's gonna be like, yo, he gave him the publishing back, you know? It's all about publicity nowadays. If you pay attention, right? A lot of these rappers, singers, or whatever, they're not getting notoriety for their music no more. They getting notoriety, they might have did something dumb, you know what I'm saying, in the media, they might have, you know what I'm saying, a viral moment. You know what I'm saying? That's getting publicity right now. But in the past, Diddy has got a lot of negative publicity. So I guess right now he probably feels like, all right, it's time for me to get some more positive publicity.
Now, this is not to say that it proves anything in a definite way, but the timing does stand out because after years of disputes and tension, everything suddenly seemed to get resolved just before things began to fall apart publicly. And Cameron even confirmed it casually during a show, mentioning that Mase was not even present when it happened and was simply finishing paperwork at the time. And shifting focus to DaBaby, this is where the story takes a more interesting turn, because his connection to everything is not tied to contracts, bad boy, or decades of history, as he was simply attending a party. And in the interview that quickly spread everywhere, he talked about going to Diddy's house for one of his gatherings in a very relaxed and casual way, explaining how as the night went on most of the guests started to leave while a smaller group remained, and he mentioned that Jay-Z and Beyonce were among those still there, adding that Diddy seemed to take a particular interest in him throughout the night as the overall vibe slowly shifted into something noticeably different.
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put him out.
Now, when that interview first came out, a lot of people brushed it aside because DaBaby is known for saying bold and provocative things, so some listeners treated it more like entertainment than something serious. But going back to it after the documents and the federal case began laying out in detail what those gatherings were reportedly turning into for certain individuals, his description starts to feel completely different. Since DaBaby was not trying to expose anything or act as a whistleblower, he was simply sharing a story the way he remembered it. And that calm, matter-of-fact tone is actually what makes it hit much harder when you look back on it. Because he was describing a situation that would sound concerning to most people while talking about it as if it were just another normal night in the industry. And after Diddy was arrested, DaBaby posted a clip that quickly went viral where he was getting ready for a music video shoot and pulled out a large bag filled with baby oil bottles before dumping them out on the sidewalk in front of his crew. And when he noticed the camera, he leaned into the moment even more, turning it into something humorous that had everyone laughing, including me, because the way he delivered it was perfect.
Gotta make sure nobody watch.
Guys, it's finally been revealed how Diddy used his baby oil, and it's disgusting. This is Ariel Mitchell Kidd, an attorney who's representing one of Diddy's accusers, and she revealed some graphic details. The accuser was sadly R-worded by Diddy. A friend and the bodyguard invited them to Diddy's home. The attorney alleges that Diddy threatened the person with a knife. The accuser then alleges after being threatened by Diddy, they start to pull out a liquid-like substance from a fanny pack. This thing where the workers at Diddy's homes will all have fanny packs with all types and sorts of things in there that can get people disoriented, and it's really weird. He then started squirting all this liquid on her until it covered her entire body. Then she alleges that's when the attack happened. Diddy and his friend took advantage. As this was happening, the accuser alleges that her body went limp because it turns out the oil was infused with agents that caused the body to go limp, where you were unable to control yourself or your body or your muscles. This is insane.
I think dismissing it as just a troll move misses what was really going on, because DaBaby was not simply making a random statement, he was expressing it in the way he understands best, which is through performance, timing, and a kind of controlled chaos. And what he seemed to be communicating, in a subtle way, was that he knew exactly what it all meant, that he was aware of what those bottles were reportedly used for, and that he wanted others to recognize that awareness, especially since federal investigators reportedly discovered over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant during raids on Diddy's properties, with the quantity being so large that it became part of legal discussions. And although Diddy's legal team challenged how those details were being presented, the narrative had already spread and taken hold publicly.
You might be right about that. Good point, man. But what was that comment you made about how the baby oil at Diddy's house might be laced? What makes you say that?
Well, what I said is that, isn't it weird that the government was so interested in Diddy's baby oil that they took 1,000 bottles away from his house? If the government took 1,000 bottles of baby oil and somebody had things what appeared to be baby oil, and then you have to listen to the prosecutor. He said that they seized 1,000 bottles what allegedly to be baby oil. Allegedly to be baby oil. So that's telling people that it wasn't baby oil. And people think that that was baby oil, they out their mind. I don't believe it was baby oil. Yo, bro, when they went up in there, they knew what they was gonna find. They knew what was ever in that baby oil or that those bottles that appeared to be baby oil, they knew about that at first. You gotta realize 9 times out of 10, that individual that got caught at the airport, that was supposed to be their carrier, told them what they was doing and what they had. I wouldn't put him past that he told them everything. So when they went up in there, they knew they had to take whatever was out there, and that thing that appeared to be baby oil, they took that. They gotta test every last one of them. Let's see how much, let's see how many of those come back to be baby oil. Bro, listen to me. Costco don't sell that much baby oil. Where you know sell that much baby oil?
Yeah, I don't know any store that sell that much baby oil. I know Costco, they came out and said that they don't even sell baby oil.
My sentiments exactly.
But you personally, right, what do you believe was in the baby oil?
If you ever seen a massage parlor being raided and they walking out the people, do they take the massage oil with them when they go? No, they just walk out the people who are being arrested. If you ever seen a person getting arrested and the people being arrested in those brothel houses, do they take out the stuff in the brothel houses? No, they don't. They take the individuals who are being arrested out the brothel houses. For them to take 1,000 bottles of baby oil, it's like that they did not leave one. They left people there, but they ain't leave not one bottle. Nobody needed no baby oil. So my whole thing about it is that there was something in that other than baby oil. That's why they took all the bottles. And 9 times out of 10, if I would give it a wild guess, it was, and like some of the people told me, it was probably that GHB.
What's that?
I think it's gamma hydrox. I looked it up, bro. Let me see if I can find it. I know this is just showing everything like that, but oh no. Let me. Yo, somebody tap dance or sing or do something, you know what I'm saying, while I'm doing this. Oh, here it go right here. It's gamma hydroxy butyric. What is it effect on the body? It's a euphoria, drowsiness, decreased anxiety, and memory impairment. It works on the nervous system and gives you this feeling of euphoria. So they take that and rubbed it on her, and you forget who you are, what you're doing. It can also give you memory loss, drowsiness, and that's under the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration.gov.
It is not random for DaBaby to go out and make that specific visual reference on camera while smiling. because he is someone who attended one of those parties, noticed certain things that night, and is now using the form that comes most naturally to him, which is performance, to signal exactly where he stands. And to really understand how striking all of this is, you have to remember what Diddy's parties represented for nearly a decade, as from the late 90s through around 2009, the white parties were truly iconic. Not in the overused sense of the word, but in a real and meaningful way, with outlets like the New York Times describing them as the most sought-after invitation of the summer, where getting invited meant you had truly made it, whether in the Hamptons, Miami, or St. Tropez. And the guest lists were filled with politicians, film stars, athletes, musicians, and powerful executives, all dressed in white, creating massive events that people talked about for weeks afterward. And for many who attended, especially in the earlier years, that experience felt genuinely glamorous and overwhelming, the kind of night you would remember for a lifetime. It has led some of those same attendees to look back on those nights very differently, including columnist Rob Shooter, who attended multiple parties and later spoke about reevaluating those memories after the allegations became public, while others have done the same. And what starts to come into focus from these reflections is the idea that there were two very different experiences happening at the same events at the same time. And interestingly, those parties seemed to end quietly around 2009 without any major announcement or public fallout, as they simply stopped, while Diddy reportedly spent less time in the Hamptons, which at the time appeared to be a simple lifestyle change, but now feels more like a calculated exit. And the part that stands out the most in all of this is that the people attending those gatherings were not random individuals, but some of the most connected, informed, and resourceful figures in American entertainment, including executives who built major empires and artists with access to lawyers, managers, and entire teams who understand how the industry operates at the highest levels. And despite all of that, these stories remain quiet for years, which is not something that happens by coincidence, because in industries driven by money, access, and image, there are many ways that silence can be maintained over long periods.
You met Puff on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Friday, you was recording your album.
No, I was recording Only You.
I was recording Only You.
And once that record came out, it was probably like a week or two later. And then I was showing up at a video to do Only You. So it was that fast. Then the locks was already signed. And then I think like that next week, once the record started going crazy, it was like, yo, we gotta sign. We gotta sign.
All right, so we gonna get to it. What did Puff do to piss you the How did he do you dirty if he did you dirty? And what is doing dirty if a motherfucker won?
That's really good. Let me take my shit off. Now I could say this because it's not something I didn't say to him. Puff, how do I want to say this? Me and Puff was like, I felt like I did more than I got credit for, more than I got paid for.
You felt or did you do that? Because you said felt, like
okay,
feeling.
let's clear that up then.
You saying you feeling that?
No, we gonna keep it with, because I'm trying to be nice. I never got paid what I was worth, and I never got the respect I was worth. So the disdain that I got for Puff is more like, you trying to keep me here? I'm not here. All my peers is up here. All my peers are bosses. When it's time, just like somebody raised somebody up, you know they did work with you, they go from your little man to maybe A&R to something else. He just kept trying to keep me right here, like he didn't want me to grow at anything. And to anybody, is that gonna bother you?
Yeah.
Especially if I'm producing the work. Yeah. Puff would go out and party, and I would be in the studio writing the records, and then I just come back and say, he'll say this is his part or that is his part, but I was the person there creating it all.
Right.
And then, I mean, from the lyrical standpoint, whether somebody did a beats, and even More Money, More Problems, I came up with that. I came up with the beat too. And I said, Stevie, we need to do this beat and do it like this. So just imagine all of these moments that are taken from you, the records, the beats, you ain't getting the money, you ain't getting the publishing, you ain't getting the respect. And I don't think you're like that.
No.
So that became really frustrating for me because I'm
You said you
looking
don't think you like that. What that mean?
I don't think you would like that.
like,
If a motherfucker did you like that, what the
Yeah,
fucking
like-
story is you listening to, nigga?
man, I don't think you like that to be pulling what you pulling.
Yeah, you from the ghetto. You like,
Yeah, like you know what would come with doing that. But everybody is letting you get away with it. Everybody. So me quitting after one album, it didn't take long for me to figure it out. Like, I'm not gonna be here with this. I don't care who's here because you're not paying me and you're not respecting me. And that's the real problem.
did all right.
And that's just the beginning.
All right,
then
go ahead.
there's people that try to do bodily harm with me. They will be in the house with Puff. So I'm like, it's a funny game y'all playing behind the scenes. So when people see me, they just see me turned up. They just see me agitated. They just see me aggressive, but they don't know why. So if somebody, let's just say we run down on Gilly car, if we got guns or whatever, where we got them.
MASE once explained it very clearly on his show, saying that the Bad Boy brand was publicly presented as a symbol of black empowerment, while artists like him were reportedly being pressured and taken advantage of behind the scenes. And that contrast between the public image and the private reality is where much of this story exists. But what has truly changed now is that a federal criminal case does not respond to the usual methods that keep these kinds of stories contained. Because once documents are filed and testimony is placed on the official record, situations that were kept quiet for years suddenly become part of court filings that anyone can actions around it. While DaBaby appeared to recognize it in his own way as well, with both of them clearly aware that the moment was beginning to change.
But this is supposed to be the signed to. This is supposed to be who I'm getting money with. And I gotta say this because when people see me irate and they see me aggressive, they wanna, oh, what is Mace doing? Mace is bugging. No, it's a point you get to that you like, yo, I can't let you play because you playing now dangerous games. So imagine somebody doing that and then they over there talking about brother love. Imagine how you feeling, bro. So it's like you holding I can't blame Puff for this because I can't say he's doing it, but I can't say he's not. So if you look at the people who hate on me, right? They're from Revolt shows. Who run Revolt? The people that had the biggest problems with Mace and write the craziest stuff about Mace come from Revolt. Who run Revolt? I'm still asking y'all because everything people keep doing, I'm like, why do they keep tripping on me? It's almost like they want me to be something that's gonna be detrimental to them because it's not gonna be detrimental to me.
Damn.
So answer that though, since we really talking.
Puff run Revolt.
Diddy run Revolt.
Yeah, he run Revolt.
Right.
So when I hit him up and I say, yo, you got people every time they trying to discredit my name, you don't think that blocked me from other deals? You don't think that blocked me from other monies? You don't think that does something to my
You being
livelihood?
blackballed right now?
MASE said he is releasing his first album in more than 20 years on the very first day of Diddy's federal trial, and he said it on camera with a slight smirk, as if he had been holding that moment back for a long time, revealing that it will be a triple disc project with the title he mentioned being Now, We Even. And if you let that title sit for a second, it says a lot. Because this is someone who has clearly been building toward a very specific moment, fully aware of how the timing looks and exactly what it communicates. And after the publishing disputes, after stepping away and returning, and then leaving again, after everything that has happened, he is choosing to release music on the same day his former boss walks into a federal courtroom, which feels less like a comeback and more like a final statement, while the trial itself is on an entirely different level, with expectations that a large amount of evidence will enter the public record through that process, including the files that have been referenced across various reports, documented footage, and witness testimony from people who were present in those rooms. All of it moving from behind closed doors into an official record, meaning that what has mostly existed as social media talk and industry whispers up until now becomes something permanent and verifiable. And for those who spent years navigating that world quietly, whether performing, enduring, or simply trying to understand what they had stepped into, that shift carries real weight, And when looking at both of these stories together, what stands out is not just the details, but how long people carry these experiences. As Mase was in his early 20s, when he was at the center of Bad Boy, and has spent decades working through the aftermath of that period in. Wow! His life professionally, spiritually, and publicly, while DaBaby comes from a completely different generation with no deep history tied to Diddy, yet attended one party and noticed things that stayed with him enough to speak about them years later. And neither of them until recently really had a situation where speaking openly made more sense than staying silent, which is a part of the story that often gets overlooked when people focus only on the drama, because it ignores the years involved, the weight of those experiences, and the careful calculations people in that world have been making for a long time. And now, as the trial moves forward and the record is built piece by piece, the gap between what people knew and what they were willing to say is finally starting to close. And the real question now becomes what happens next. Because once everything is out in the open, does the music industry actually change? Or does it simply reshape itself into another version of the same system? And that is something worth thinking about. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe so you do not miss any future content. And until next time, keep it real.